This is the Flex Network. Flex on everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Flex Network. I am your host today, Flex Shane. You can follow me on Twitter at the Flex Network 1. I'm joined by the original Carnival Barker himself. You guys know him as IDP
That's
Nature
right.
Boy.
That's right.
I know him as Michael Yeager. What's up, brother?
I am the Carnival. Not much, man. I'm excited to be here again. I am apparently, according to Alex Dunlap of Roster Watch, the Carnival Barker, and apparently the most cockamamie, at least of those in the Banana Hammock Boys League. But I think everybody in that league is always somewhat on tilt and cockamamie to some degree. So yeah, I'm excited to be here again. Talk about a trade that I did recently with and I can't do it as great as Flex Matt would say, but I love how he berates Seslowski.
Yeah, it's funny. So it's kind of interesting because we've got a different dynamic with the in-season content. And so obviously I've been doing our weekly show, the Thrive 5, we're calling it. So we're, just different props on the website and the app that we're going to talk about a little bit later on this show. But of course, those boys are going on Saturday nights. That's of course Flex Matt, as well as Season Long Says, aka Seslowski. And
so tune into that tonight.
So absolutely tune into that tonight. That is typically 8:30 Eastern, or really it's like 8:35 Eastern. So at that point, Al's probably about one or two adult beverages into his evening. So, when Al does his shows in the morning, he's a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more reasonable. And then of course, after a few beverages, he goes off. He's on tilt. He's pretty much on tilt. So
he drinks the fruity stuff, or he drinks that nasty hard.
He's a wine drinker. He enjoys a fine wine. He enjoys a fine wine.
He probably drinks $2 Chuck from Trader Joe's.
What's going on, Mike? We got the mics back in the house. Here we go. Yeah, Mike. See, Mike, you never want to come on the show with me, so I got to get our B level mic. No offense, Mike.
No. I like Mike.
So let's not bury the lead. On the show, generally, again, we like to focus on the Thrive plays for this particular show, but obviously we're a fantasy first show. And one of the reasons we like working with Thrive Fantasy, one, obviously it's fun to play these props games, but also when we're choosing our fantasy football lineups, and again, we're diehard fantasy football fans. That's what our show's all about. One of the things that we really like to look at are, what does Vegas say? Because, look, Vegas, they are in the money-making business. So they're very sharp with their lines. And by going through the process of understanding, what particular Thrive plays do we like, it's also going through the process, who am I going to start and sit? Going back to our Saturday night shows, that's always our flex on them show, right? So we're choosing some deeper plays that we think can help you get you through your weeks. It's bye weeks. The bye weeks have arrived, ladies and gentlemen. And that's not even assuming the decimating injuries we've been facing all season, and the COVID scares we keep getting every week, where it's a positive. Oh wait, no, it's a false positive. Indianapolis.
I got my fingers crossed. I can still play Cam Newton this weekend.
Oh,
goodness gracious!
Absolutely. It's going to be a disaster without Cam Newton. I know they're playing Denver, and I know they're out without Melvin Gordon, who quote has an illness. Dude was just pulled over with a DUI, yet he has a mysterious illness. I don't know. It's a little bit shady in my opinion, but
just like Dwayne Haskins has a mysterious illness too.
Oh yeah. Dwayne, he's benched. It's the Kyle Allen show, but basically, like, we like to explore these things, but we also like to talk about Dynasty. We really focus on Dynasty in the offseason. Like, we never stop. We were going right from February this year, right after the Super Bowl, and we go right into Dynasty season. And so we always like to reflect back on some of our Dynasty leagues, and we are in one together with, of course, Season Long Says. Just this week, you were on blast a little bit with the trade that went down in our league.
Just a little?
A lot. Typically most of your trades are pretty tilting for the league, but essentially what the trade was for the listeners was you gave up Russell Wilson, who is basically the QB1 in football right now, and arguably the QB1 in Dynasty over, well, I mean, he's in line with Patrick Mahomes, and of course, but he's up there. But you gave Russell Wilson in a 2021 third, which, the third's pretty much a throw-in. But you gave away, you got Tua Tagovailoa. Of course, Tua.
Yeah.
He's still sitting behind Fitzmagic, but look, the future's bright.
Well, not for long. I mean, Fitz is going to go.
Fitz is playing well, man. He's got magic. He's had one bad game. That's not bad. He lit up San Francisco last week. But so for Tua Tagovailoa, Antonio Gibson, who we love, of course, and then a 2021
Golden Son,
of course, of roster watch. We can't steal that. But look, we understand what you're doing here. You're in rebuild mode. We get it.
And you forgot my first round pick, unless I didn't hear.
Yeah, no, I just mentioned that.
I also got a first round pick. Okay.
So how many first round picks is that now? You've accumulated 4.
Well, I own a quarter of that draft next year, so.
Yes, you own 4 out of the 12.
And I'm looking to get more, but I don't know that I want to trade away any of the rest of my team. I mean, it was tough. Trust me, it was tough letting Russell Wilson go. I put out there that I was willing to move him. Obviously, it had to be the right offer and a very strong offer, with it being Superflex Dynasty, right? Him being the number one QB, them finally letting Russ cook, right? And he has certainly been cooking this year. And if you look at the rest of my team, the dumpster fire that it's been, although surprisingly, I'm in the middle of the pack as far as record and points, but I looked at what I wanted to do in the future, and the fact that I have a plan for that, which hopefully with 4 first round picks it shakes out. So I looked at what I wanted to do, and then I looked at also wanting some running back depth, because I have Chubb is my best running back now, but he's hurt, right. and behind him I've got Mostert and not much else. So basically, getting Antonio Gibson back.
You're in rebuild mode. What's your outlook on Antonio Gibson? I mean, let's be honest right now. Washington is not in the best shape. We talked about Dwayne Haskins. He has been benched for Kyle Allen, who, I mean, he's an average quarterback at best, but I guess Ron Rivera just trusts him a little bit more. But look, man, we are huge Terry McLaurin fans here at the Flex Network, and I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm a little bit worried in general on that Washington landscape. And I don't know, Antonio Gibson, what do you think? Like, do you think obviously you're bullish on his outlook?
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, my hope is that to some degree they upgrade that atrocious offensive line that they have. I'm figuring or hoping that he starts getting more of the share, more involved in the passing game, expecting them to be behind. And then, as part of my future plans, who knows, maybe next year they go out and they sign, get that number 1 draft pick, and they get Mr. Trevor Lawrence. So
they're going to be battling with some other Jets teams, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, well,
there's a few bottom dwellers out there right now.
Yeah, as much as I'd hate to see him go to the Redskins, being an Eagles fan, I would much rather him go there.
Oh, Mike, the Washington.
Oh, sorry, my bad. You're right. The WFT.
That's right.
Maybe I'll just call him that. So, as much as I'd hate to see him go to Washington, I'd much rather him go there than the Jets. And I think that if they're able to do that or something of that sort, improve that offensive line. I think it's only wheels up, as we would say, for Antonio Gibson. But again, I needed started running back depth, so he's a starter. He's getting lines most of the carries.
He's getting. I mean, he was a senior. He was a senior when he came into the league, so he's a little bit older. He's already 20. Well, he's only 22 years old, but a little bit older. It's about a year. But again, the talent is there. I mean, he pretty much blew up the combine. We knew about him because of the Senior Bowl. We pay attention right from the beginning when the Senior Bowl happens. I mean, cat's out of the bag when it comes to Antonio Gibson. I'm optimistic he's going to be good. I hope Tua is good. We haven't seen it, to your point. It's probably not going to be they say until Miami's probably out of the running is when likely Tua will get a start. But who knows, man? Fitzmagic is playing really well. Maybe they're going to be. Oh, you were calling Antonio. Well, look, Al. He's 22 years old. He was a senior.
Well,
he's a little bit older. He's not Keyshawn Vaughn old, but he's a little bit older.
Well, and you're talking of like I'm old myself, so when I think of that, that's not old to me.
It's all relative.
That's yeah. So
okay. Long story short,
I mean, look at it this way, though, Jing. If we redrafted today, how high do you think Antonio Gibson would go? How high do you think Gibson would go? Right. Yes. In Dynasty.
He's probably going to be about a 4th or 5th round pick, is what I would expect. I mean, look,
you think
starting running back?
I think he'd still go higher than that in Dynasty if we redrafted right now.
So keep in mind, like this is the format we're in. It's a Dynasty Superflex tight end premium, and I don't know. I mean, look, Antonio Gibson is up there. He would probably be, I think, 3rd or 4th round pick, maybe upwards of 3rd. The running back room, man, it's just insane right now, just with all the injuries. Like Mike Davis is an all-world player.
Well, that's more of the system there, I think, for Davis. Not that Davis isn't good, but I really think that a lot of that has to do with the system. But no, I don't. I mean, look, I could have done worse than Antonio Gibson because I was getting some. Let's just say some. We'll just say not good offers or not anywhere near as strong as what Szyslowski and
I think it was a fair deal. You basically got 3 firsts. Yeah, really, what it came down to, right? You got three first round picks for Russell Wilson is what it came down to. So Al is saying that he's locked in first round pick. Al, you don't need to be the sales job right now. We know that it's already over. I think he'd be a little bit later. That's just me. Al thinks that he overpaid. But anyways, we're going to digress. I think it was a fair trade. Look, to be honest with you, taking a step back as somebody watching in, Tua, I think is going to be special. He really can be. I like actually the fact that he's got the opportunity to kind of sit back and learn. It's funny because we thought that Tua might be one of the first ones to play, especially ahead of Justin Herbert, but Herbert stepped in there. Quarterbacks are more prepared than ever now entering the NFL. And if you're a first round draft pick, you're expected to play early. I like that he's learning under the veteran of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitz after just having fun, man. Like he's a DGAF kind of quarterback. And I think that as Tua learns, it's going to be beneficial long-term for him. And look, you got a starting quarterback for the long term. You got Antonio Gibson, who let's just say a top 3 round pick in redraft. And then of course you've got a dart throw with that first round pick. You know, generally speaking, you want to be in probably the top half, but it's looking to be a deep quarterback class. It's looking to be a deep running back class, of course, next year. And then wide receivers, man, you could argue some of the best, most talented wide receivers in line with the 2020 season, again, are coming out next year. So the fact that you've got 4 of them now, you're in rebuild mode. I respect that. I probably need to start rebuilding a little bit more vigorously on my team as well.
Step into my trade office, Shane. You're welcome to step in my trade office and try again to trade me Sony Michel, which I will reject.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Maybe we can work something out.
Bag of peanuts. All right. That doesn't sound very good. Okay. We are going to pivot now to talk about some of our Thrive 5 plays of the week. So, of course, for those of you who don't know, Thrive Fantasy, it's a daily fantasy sports app specifically for prop plays. So what's kind of cool is if you have the app, there's different games you can choose. On the website, you can actually go and specifically choose just individual props that you like. So if you like Thrive Fantasy and you like props, check out the website, but also check out the app. Of course, when you download the Thrive Fantasy app, on your first deposit of up to $20 or more, or minimum $20 or more, up to $50, Thrive will actually match that deposit instantly. It's not one of those slow drip ones that I kind of call it like the slow teas. It's an instant match. So if you put now, Mike, I know that you live in Arizona, so you cannot actually play DFS.
Oh, hypothetically, do not get me started on that. But yeah.
If you went and downloaded the Thrive Fantasy app today, deposited $20 and use promo code FLEX, you would instantly have $40 to play with. So absolutely. I like to personally do, and there's different types of matchups. There's NFL, there's MLB, there is NBA, but it's no longer there. And there's actually esports as well. I like to stick to football because that's what I know best. And I like to play the NFL Sunday Rush contest. So obviously it's the week 6 NFL Sunday Rush contest. And it's very simple. See, what I kind of like about the Thrive Fantasy game itself is that you're basically choosing between different superstars. You're not choosing like, okay, who is this low end $5,500 player that I'm going to try to get into my flex position to go up against hundreds of thousands of people. It's you have 20 choices. You choose 10 of your favorite props. And there's different ones. For example, there could be like this week, one of the ones we're going to talk about, Adam Thielen, 4.5 receptions, over under. Cooper Kupp, 73.5 reception yards, over under. And they're different styles of props. And it's really simple. You go up against 100 people, and the top teams who choose the most correct props win. It's pretty simple. It's a lot of fun. I really recommend you go take a look at it. Download the Thrive Fantasy app, use promo code FLEX, and have a lot of fun. So, okay, let's get to it, Mike. The first prop we're going to talk about, we already mentioned it, Adam Thielen this week against Atlanta versus Atlanta. The prop specifically is 4.5 receptions. Now, first of all, Adam Thielen is absolutely tearing it up this season. He's pretty much a top 3 wide receiver in PPR leagues. I think he's at least top 5 to 10 in non-PPR. I mean, I mostly play PPR, let's be honest. I am hammering over on this one. What do you think?
I would absolutely agree with that. I mean, we've seen Adam Thielen. He's been on fire this year, which I'll have to admit, when we were drafting, I was off the Thielen. I did not think that he would have as good a year as he's had so far. With them being a run-heavy, run-first offense, but it seems like maybe it's been flipped a little bit this year. And so, yeah, I missed, and I think a lot of other people missed on him. But, if we look at, so I'm looking at some stats in regards to the targets and receptions of wide receivers from the teams that the Falcons have played so far this year. And in every single one of them, except for week 4 against the Packers, it was all the receivers as a whole caught at least 15. So it was 16 from the Seahawks, 16 receptions for the Cowboys, 15 for the Bears, and only 7 for the Packers. Some of that may have been due to Devontae Adams being out and Allen Lazard being out. And then 18 receptions from the Panthers wide receivers, and just a ton of yardage in those. And we all know that the Falcons defense is just trash. It's absolute trash. Yeah, totally. And Dan Quinn was just fired, So I think definitely the over on Thielen. How much over? I don't know. I would probably.
We just need one over.
It doesn't. Yeah,
that's the beautiful thing about a prop, Mike. You just got to say, are you over or are you under? That's it. You keep it simple. So I guess one last little stat I'll throw in is that the Falcons are actually second worst in the league in terms of receptions allowed to opponents. They're allowing almost 29.6 receptions per game to opponents. So that's wide receivers, that's tight ends, that's running backs, that's all players. But still, I like the over. Thielen, he's getting the target volume. And really that's where his fantasy value comes from, is from the target volume. Minnesota isn't exactly crazy out there, but there's Jefferson, who is a stud. There's Thielen, and then you got the run game. So, I mean, Irv Smith, we like him, but he's just not getting a consistent production.
He's only shown us one week so far. So
yeah, exactly. So Buck stops with Thielen. We're hammering the over. Let's move on. Okay. Another golden son. We call him the white angel of death. Cooper Kupp at San Francisco. His prop is 73.5 reception yards. What's your gut tell you, Mike?
I would probably go the under on that. And a lot of that has to just do with the fact that, they've got a lot of mouths to feed in the Rams offense. We got Robert Woods. We've got the 2 tight ends, which although I say 2, but really recently it's just been Gerald Everett, which has been driving me crazy because he's been on my bench in season long.
So we actually over at DFS Army, Al and I worked on that draft kit for the redraft, and one of the players that we had in terms of one of our sleepers was Gerald Everett. And one of the reasons is that before he was injured last year, he was the leading tight end in that offense. And it was one of the reasons we took just a little bit of pause drafting Tyler Higbee, because we knew on any given week it could be one of the tight ends that would shine. So I don't know. He's stepping up, and to your point, I mean, Cam Akers is there. Sean McVay came out this week and he said he wants to get Cam Akers more involved. So there's just a lot of options in that offense. I agree with you. I'm hammering the under, but this is actually a pretty sharp prop. So again, the prop was 73.5 reception yards. He's averaging 72.6 through the season. And the thing is that San Francisco, they are battling a lot of injuries, and last week they gave up 342 yards to Miami. But I'm going to kind of write that off and say, look, they just had an off day. They were just, I mean, they essentially benched Jimmy Garoppolo. They said it was for his own good, maybe a confidence thing. Maybe Jimmy G wasn't 100% healthy, but they got their asses kicked. Let's just call it what it was. I liked them to bounce back a little bit. They got a lot of pride. They're well coached. And I think that, I agree with you. I think they're going to hammer the under on this one, and I'm cool with that. Next, Kareem Hunt playing against the buzzsaw defense that is Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh. The prop is 72.5 rush yards. No Nick Chubb. Dearness Johnson was nowhere to be seen last week. Mike, how you feeling about this one? It feels like a bit of a trap. What do you think?
It does seem like a little bit of a trap. I would agree with that. I think that he could end up being more involved in the pass game. Obviously, if Pittsburgh gets out to a lead on Cleveland, which Pittsburgh certainly has the offense to do that, especially with the emergence of Chase Claypool. Who is probably still scoring touchdowns on my Eagles. I would go the under on Hunt, but be careful on this one. As you alluded to, it could definitely be a trap.
There's no doubt Kareem Hunt's going to be involved in the game plan. I don't know. I mean, there's so much BS that gets talked throughout the week. They're saying Baker Mayfield's looking really sharp in practice. He's making a lot of good passes. Odell Beckham had this mysterious illness, which was not COVID-19. Hey,
Shane, are you foreshadowing something? Do you know something we don't know that you might want to?
Well, the 19 is for year that it was found. So maybe I'm just I'm looking to the past. I'm just saying. But he did not test positive. He is expected to be cleared, or he has been cleared for the game on Sunday. So it sounds like it was maybe just like a 24-hour bug of some random sorts. So Odell's going to be back. Look, the over/under in this game is 51, which it could be a relatively higher scoring game, but I think, look, these NFC or AFC North games, they're slugfests. I think more often than not, it's going to be defense wins first, and it's going to be a defensive game between both of these teams. I agree with you. I think we got to go with the under on Kareem Hunt on rushing yards. Now, if we were talking total combined yards, to your point, I think they're going to have to involve him in the passing game more. And that's one of the reasons why I'm taking the under, and we are taking the under on those rush yards, because we think he's going to get a lot of his yards through the air this week.
Right. I'd absolutely agree with that.
You agree with that? Cool. All right. Ready to move on?
Let's do it. Let's go.
Mike Evans versus Green Bay. The prop is 5.5 receptions. Where are you at? 5.5 receptions for Mike Evans.
This was a tough one, but I like the under on this one. A lot of it has to do with the fact that Chris Godwin is going to be back, and I'm trying to bring up my the stats here I had on me just a second. In the games that Mike Evans has played in, Godwin was there, I think, week 1 and weeks 3, but not week 2. So if you look at the stats there, in the games that Godwin played, he was under 5 receptions. I think he was at 3 and maybe 4. Still trying to pull it up here. Now, in the games that Godwin was out, Evans was above that. So the primary reason why I'm going with the under, as well as the fact that, depending on how much you, read into wide receiver cornerback matchup, he can possibly be shadowed by Jair Alexander, who is one of the top-rated cornerbacks, I believe, by PFF, if not the top-rated one.
Yep.
In the league. So, whether he's shadowed or not, I think with that and Chris Godwin coming back, that's why I'm going under on Evans.
Week 1, he received 4 targets. He had 1 reception, 4 touchdowns. In week 3, he had 4 targets, 2 receptions. How many touchdowns, Mike? 2 touchdowns. So if we were betting a touchdown prop here, I would probably take the over on him scoring that touchdown. But to your point, Chris Godwin is back. Chris Godwin he's a stud, man. He's the one who's going to demand the targets. Mike Evans demands the red zone looks, which we love, right? So for fantasy football, you're starting Mike Evans every single week, regardless of the expected volume. But another thing too is I like to think about game script here. So when you're actually looking at the Tampa game, the over-under is a massive 55.5 points, which means Vegas is projecting this game against Green Bay to be an absolute shootout. Tampa Bay is one of the best defenses in the league right now, if not the best. And they know that Aaron Rodgers is saying, fucking Russell Wilson MVP, Aaron Rodgers is MVP. The only person Aaron Rodgers loves more than Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers' paychecks. Aaron Rodgers wants himself an MVP caliber quality season with nobody to look the Green Bay Packers management in the face and give the thumbs up and basically say, you don't want to give me any wide receivers. You want to draft my replacement? Middle finger to you. I'm going to get the MVP this year. The only reason I bring that up is because I think that if Tampa really wants to win this game, it's not going to be in a shootout. Now, Tampa can put up points. We know that. But I think that they're going to rely on Ronald Jones and hopefully Leonard Fournette is back. Keyshawn Vaughn hasn't really done much. But I think you're going to try to rely on the run game to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. And what that means is that you're going to limit the number of passing plays by Tom Brady, which just inherently is going to limit the number of receptions potentially by Mike Evans. I agree with you. I'm hammering the under. Let's go. Last prop. Mike Davis. Death, taxes, and Christian. Mike Davis. The over-under for Mike Davis scoring a touchdown this week. What you got, Michael Yeager?
Well, you look at the prop and it's 0.5 rush TDs, and I mean he's pretty much obviously the only game in town when it comes to running backs for Carolina. I mean, they got Trenton Cannon. And I forget who else is the backup, but come on, let's be real. They're not going to give those guys the ball when they get towards the end zone, right? It's also
a bit of a revenge game, right? Because he played for the Bears last year, and they're going up against the Bears.
That's right. And they didn't really, they signed him, and they didn't really use him that much.
No.
We have the classic revenge game,
exactly.
If you believe in that. I would definitely go with the over on this, and I think you'd be good with that.
Year. Is this not, like, just taking a step back, is this not just a perfect example of how running back doesn't matter? Like, teams that go and spend millions of dollars, like we just saw Lev Bell get cut. Like the running back position is so replaceable. If it's how the offense is built. Carolina was built to have Christian McCaffrey as their workhorse, as their elite weapon, their nuclear weapon in their offense. And he gets hurt second week. What happens? Mike Davis steps in, and he's pretty much putting up 20 points a week in PPR leagues. He is easily a top 5 RB every single week in terms of a decision. And a big part of that production comes from every single touchdown that he has scored. The last 3 weeks, he's got 1 touchdown per game. I agree with you, Mike. I'm hammering the over on Mike Davis scoring a rushing touchdown this week. Mike, how do the good people find you on Twitter?
They can find me on Twitter, Eagles fan 3535. Hit me up there. That's pretty much the only thing I'm on as far as social media. But I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. Yes, maybe that's what I should change my name to. Fortunately, I wasn't able to get into any IDP leagues this year. So maybe I'll change my name from IDP Nature Boy to Carnival Barker, and that'll be my new Twitter handle as well too.
OG Carnival Barker.
So, I don't even know technically what that means, but Alex likes to come up with a lot of descriptive words for people, especially those in the PHP.
There's kind of just some smack talk going around fantasy football Twitter where if you are kind of like a quote loud mouth but don't really back it up by facts, like a Carnival Barker, like, hey yo, come play our game that's probably rigged. It's just a loud talking sort of guy. That's what a Carnival Barker is. I don't know. I think it's endearing. I mean, the roster watch guys, they love you.
Yeah.
A loyal fan number one, even though you are a little bit cockamamie, but I'm sure they wouldn't have it any other way. So, of course,
no, absolutely.
So, of course, you can follow us on Twitter at the Flex Network 1. Do not miss the show tonight. It's going to be Flex Matt and Season Long Says talking about their favorite flex plays of the week. You can catch it at 8:30 Eastern on Periscope, on YouTube, on Facebook. They will be there. So, for Mike, for Season Long Says, for the wacky Flex Matt, we are the Flex Network. Get some, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody. This right here is the Flex Network.